Hi, my name is Maria Korcsmaros, and I live in Corona, California. I've been a patient of scars for probably on and off for over 3 years. Started out coming to them for a knee problem that I had with some arthritis and stuff. And they helped me do that and get back to my running and my triathlons. I do triathlons for fun. I'm a fitness instructor, and a couple years ago, went back to them again because I got bit by a great white shark in Corona del Mar. So on that day, that fateful day in Corona del Mar, I was supposed to work out with my team that morning, and my husband and I had decided to go out to La Jolla to spend the night there. So I said, oh, you know what? I can do my training in the afternoon. Let's just go to the beach, hang out at the beach. It's Memorial Day weekend. We'll take Sam. We'll hang out at the beach. And so I'd swum at Corona del Mar pretty often. When I moved here from Texas, I wanted to find a nice ocean spot that wasn't too overwhelming for me. I'm a lake swimmer. I come from Canada, so I didn't want wave entry that was crazy, and someone suggested Corona del Mar. So I was training at Corona del Mar maybe once a week or so, sometimes twice a week, just to get used to the ocean and ocean swimming, because some of the triathlons here are in the ocean. So that was just a normal course of business. So I'm training for a half Ironman. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'll just go along the buoy line. It's about an hour in the water, and there's people on the beach. It's going to be a great day, and out I go. And then it happens.
Tonight at 10, danger in the water this Memorial Day weekend. A woman is recovering from a shark attack in Newport Beach.
Developing news tonight. Warnings are going out about a predator off Corona del Mar State Beach. A shark repeatedly bit a woman in the waters just off the popular holiday gathering spot. And tonight she is still in the hospital. KCAL 9's Jeff Nguyen is live at the hospital in Santa Ana with more on the victim's condition. Jeff?
Well, Andrea Juan, the swimmer, is recovering at this hospital after she was taken here. Now, she underwent surgery earlier this evening. This comes after we have confirmed that she came face to face with a great white shark.
So out I go for my first loop. I circle around buoy number 3. I'm on my way back to buoy number 1. And just around buoy number 2, I feel this piercing pressure on my torso, and I think to myself, oh my gosh, there's nothing in the ocean that big other than a shark. And as I had started my swim, I had noticed there's a lifeguard boat there. And normally the lifeguard boat isn't there. I've probably seen it 5 times out of the times I've swum there. And I've been in California now for about almost 10 years. So I was like, okay, you need to get that boat's attention. You need to get it now because you need to get yourself out of the water. So basically I treaded water and I called for help, put my arms on my head, called for help, and kicked like mad just in case the shark came back. So fortunately for me, they saw me. I was screaming at the top of my lungs, get me out, get me out, get me out. They saw me, they plucked me out of the water, and I learned later it was in less than a minute. So they get me on board their boat, and he's checking me out, and I'm telling this lifeguard, I'm telling him, I can't breathe, you gotta check my chest, you gotta check my chest. And he's saying to me, no, your chest is not my main concern right now, it's your arm is bleeding out, we need to put a tourniquet on your arm, I need to stop the blood. So he said, just put your hand here and until I tell you to let go. So I put my hand there and I followed his directions, and then once I felt my arm going numb, I was probably safe in the thought there. So after that, he's asking me what my name is, and they're driving around Balboa Pier into the boat area where the boats go through. So we get to the Coast Guard loading dock over there by Balboa Pier, and then the ambulance guys come down. So then there's a lot of stuff going on. I remember myself being lifted into the stretcher and going up the ramp, and then I'm in the ambulance, and now I'm in the ambulance and we're going whatever fast. It goes by really, really fast. But in the ambulance, I remember them telling me, can we cut off your wetsuit? Can we cut off your bathing suit? And this is my wetsuit, so they cut it right off. This is shark bite, and then they had to cut the back off because it was holding me together basically. So, and while I was in the ambulance, being a triathlete, I actually asked one of the attendants to turn off my garment. And he's like, what do you mean turn off your garment? I'm kind of busy right now. And I said, well, I want to get a good idea when my swim time is. And he's like, well, okay, I'll let, And so about 5 minutes later, I guess he said he turned it off. Yeah, so the bite basically goes, my arm was in front, so he grabbed me here, front and back, so kind of like this. So front and back. I don't know if his mouth was in front or in back, but it was kind of like I was a hamburger in someone's mouth. So I have holes in my back, and I had bite marks on the back of my hip area and right here in the middle of my chest down to my pelvis. So because my arm was in front, he ripped off my tricep. I figure when he let go, and that was my most severe injury because it was down to the bone. They had to reattach my tricep here, and that was why I was losing that range of motion in my arm, because I had to keep it straight for almost a month before I could start working on the bend. And then Jim gave me those exercises in Canada to work it to 90 degrees, and once I got to 90, that gave Jim the go-ahead to start bending it all the way so that I could actually touch my shoulder here. These bite marks here, because he penetrated front and back, he fractured my pelvis and broke 3 ribs. And then because of the compression, we're thinking because of the compression of the bite, that's why the front area of my ribs is kind of compromised. It's because the cartilage and stuff there is more movable, and the compression of the bite would create some scar tissue underneath there. And because my liver was bit through, and I lost part of my liver, which regenerates, and my gallbladder was inflamed a year later, there's probably a lot of stuff in there that needs to be kind of worked on to get it to a point where it's going to feel better. Now my surgeon did say I could numb the nerves, but then my concern there is that I wouldn't have a sense of pain, and I kind of would prefer the pain over numbing nerves because I kind of want to know if I'm hurting myself or not, because I have enough numbness in my arm and my back that I don't want any more. Because it fractured my pelvis, it actually bit through my femoral nerve. So, and that's attached to your quad. So this quad is numb from my knee here all the way over to the top of my hip. And the leg is functional, but it's kind of like got this like numb feeling the first couple inches. So I don't really know how hard I work my quads until I go get a massage. And then she starts massaging me and I'm like, I'm in severe pain. So it's really strange, but it works. And so that's what I'm excited about, is that everything works. And I didn't lose an arm or a leg. Because most people from a shark bite, they lose an arm or a leg. So my physical recovery, my team members have really helped. My Facebook crew, all the triathletes that are there, like encouraging me and telling me, that I'm doing a great job and that I'm back to racing. They cheer me on, they get me going, and that gives me motivation to keep going. It gives me motivation to get better. The whole SCAR staff is awesome, because every time I go there, they're like, how are you feeling today? What's going on? And, everybody is, they just have suggestions for me, things that we can do to get better, things that we can do to work on stuff. And because they have a personal training staff there as well, I've taken advantage of that and done some personal training to help me get stronger in the core and other areas, because I'm finding that functional strength, it's much more doable for my sport. It transfers over better than just hauling at the weights all day long. So this event is in Newport Dunes in Newport Beach. It's November 18th, 2018, just coming up in a couple weeks. And the goal of that is to raise awareness for all these situations in the ocean, not just my situation in protecting ourselves with the shark buoy, the bow buoy out there at Balboa Pier, but just being able to come together as a community, come together as triathletes and runners and people who love the ocean, and to say, hey, we need to be aware of what we're doing to the ocean. We need to be aware of plastics in the ocean, strains to the ocean. We need to be aware of what's out there, sharks, seals, dolphins, whales. And if we want to continue to enjoy that, we need to come together as a community and kind of share that knowledge. Well, the motto I have for my business is live long and strong. And so that business model of mine is probably embedded deep within me. the other one is I think that my father, and I'm getting all teary, my father instilled in me is to always do my best. And I feel that I always, just to do your best in any situation. And I think that's what I'm doing. I did my best to get out. I did my best to recover. And now my goal is just to do the best and spread that word, because I think knowledge, and the other big one is knowledge is power. Knowledge is power, and it's not power unless you use it. So we got to get the knowledge, we got to get the power, and then we got to put it to good use. I'm thankful for my family, obviously, because without them I wouldn't have recovered as strong as I have. You know, they've given me all the support that I need. I thank Scar for being there in my time of need, because they helped me get back to swimming. They helped me get back to the sport I love to do. And I thank all my triathlete friends out there, because they encourage me just to do my best every time I go to an event. And I try and support them to do their best too. And I am their biggest cheer, and I think they're my biggest cheer. So do your best and go get them.